People have healed themselves with the power of their mind using their imagination. So, imagination has been proven to be extremely powerful. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you some examples of how it's been proven to be extremely powerful. And then I will teach you how to use your imagination to be able to manifest and create your dream life. So, firstly, Albert Einstein, he understood the power of imagination, and he has many quotes around imagination, so I will share one of them with you. So he says, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Now, Nikola Tesla, who was also this genius inventor, he understood the power of imagination as well, which is what made him to be such a great inventor. So I'll share one of his quotes with you, and that is, my method is different. I do not rush into actual work. When I get an idea, I start at once, building it up in my imagination. I change the construction, make improvements, and operate the device entirely in my mind. So that's what made Nikola Tesla this genius inventor, is he understood the power of the mind, he understood the power of imagination. He would, before actually building the invention, he would do it all in his mind. He would imagine everything. He would even imagine things going wrong and how to fix it. Then he would get hands-on and build these amazing inventions. Whereas Thomas Edison, who through the schooling system, we were taught Thomas Edison was this great inventor. And that's not actually true. Nikola Tesla was the great inventor that worked for Thomas Edison. So Thomas Edison, he invented DC electricity, direct current, and Nikola Tesla invented AC electricity, which is alternating current. And one example of why I think Thomas Edison isn't a great inventor or a great man is that he, I think, was intimidated by Nikola Tesla, that he wanted to prove that Nikola Tesla's AC electricity wasn't good. And to prove that it wasn't good, he used it to electrocute animals, and one of those animals being an elephant. And I'm not for animal cruelty. I think that's disgusting. You just want to prove that your competition's not good, so you're going to sacrifice animals' lives to do that? Like, that shows your character, right? Now, Thomas Edison also had this quote where he said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So what he means by that is he would get hands-on first, because he didn't understand what Nikola Tesla understood about imagination. So Thomas Edison would get hands-on, he'd be trying to invent these things, and like he said, he found 10,000 ways things wouldn't work. Whereas Nikola Tesla did it all in his mind first, so when it comes to being hands-on and actually building it, he'd only have to do it once. That is why Nikola Tesla was a better inventor. And again, it's because he understood the power of imagination. Now, Bob Proctor, who is a great man, who recently died, I think it was February last year he died. Rest in peace to Bob Proctor. I watch a lot of his content, learning about, law of vibration, law of attraction. And so one of the things he talks about is how we have 6 higher faculties. So he talks about how we have our 5 senses, which is connected to the conscious mind. That's your hearing, your seeing, your taste, your touch, your smell. But then he talks about these other 6 higher faculties that we need to be using that we're not really using. And one of those higher faculties is imagination. The other ones is intuition, will, reason, perception, and memory. So Bob Proctor understood as well the power of imagination. And again, it's a tool we really need to be using if we want to be able to create the dream life that we want. You know what I mean? Now, I want to share with you a study that was done at Harvard Medical School where they had 3 groups of people. The first group were told that they had to physically play a tune on a piano for the next 5 days. The second group were told that to basically just use their imagination and imagine themselves playing this tune on the piano for the next 5 days. And the third group were told to do absolutely nothing. And so over those 5 days, they did brain scans on each of those groups of people. And this is what the brain scans showed. So the first group with a physical practice, and the second group, which is the mental practice, the group that used their imagination, their brain scans are very similar. Whereas the third group, their brain scans didn't show much, right? So it shows the power of imagination. So when you're imagining things, your subconscious mind can't actually tell what's real and what's not. So your subconscious mind believes your imaginations. They believe that it's real and true. And your subconscious mind is what creates 95% of your outer reality. So whatever your subconscious mind believes to be true, it will bring it into your reality. So this is why we want to be using our imagination to manifest and create our dream life. So another example I want to share with you is Dr. Joe Dispenza and his spinal story. So when he was 23 years old, back in 1986, he was in a triathlon. He was in the biking part of the race, and he was hit by a vehicle and sent flying off his bike, and he ended up with a really badly damaged spine. He had 6 fractured vertebrae. He had bone fragments pushing on his spinal cord. One of his vertebrae was badly damaged, that it was like a wedge shape. And he was told by the doctors in the hospital that, you need to have a surgery called a Harrington rod surgery, where he would need 2 metal rods going down his spine. Now, if you've got 2 metal rods going down your spine, obviously you're not going to be able to bend. And so you would pretty much be disabled in some type of way. He was also told that because his spine is so badly damaged and one of his vertebrae was the shape of a wedge, that his spine wouldn't hold his body weight. So if he tried to stand up and walk, he would be instantly paralyzed from the chest down. So that was the 2 options he was given. And I don't know how, but somehow, being so young at only the age of 23 and in their 80s, somehow Dr. Joe Dispenza just knew that there was this higher intelligence out there. And so what happened is he rejected the surgery because he was basically like, fuck that, I don't want to be disabled. And he went home, probably, I'm assuming, like wheelchair bound. And what he did, now this is incredible, what he did is he spent 3 hours every single day using his imagination and imagining his spine being reconstructed. And he said it was really hard. At first, it was really hard to keep focus because he'd lose focus. As soon as he lost focus, it was like he had to start all over again. And so he was spending 3 hours every day, doing this, imagining his spine being reconstructed. Sometimes he'd be losing his focus and having to start again. But he said eventually he actually got it. He was able to keep his focus and he actually got it. And then he noticed his body started responding to his mind. Within 10 and a half weeks, he was up walking. And within 12 weeks, he was in the gym lifting weights. Again, he was given the options of you need to have this Harrington rod surgery, or if you try and walk, you're paralyzed. He healed his spine with the power of his mind and his imagination. That is how powerful it really is. And he basically, after that experience, he decided to dedicate his life to that type of work, studying that sort of thing, neuroscience, quantum physics, epigenetics. And he now helps other people heal themselves with the power of their mind, healing their Parkinson's disease, their MS, lupus, cancer. So it's a really interesting thing. Now, we've learned how powerful the mind is and how powerful the imagination is and how it's actually been proven to be powerful. So now I want to teach you how to use your imagination so you can manifest and create your dream life. So the first step is to figure out what it is you actually want. What is your desire? What is your dream life? And once you've figured that out, you can start visualizing it. So when you visualize, you're using your imagination, right? And so with visualization, you want to get a really clear picture. The clearer, the better. And to do that, I highly recommend to incorporate as many of your five senses as possible. So, for example, let's say you want to manifest your dream home. How would your home look? What color are the walls? What color are the curtains? What color is the carpet? What does the backyard look like? When you first walk through the front door, what do you smell? Does it have a new house smell? Does it have a home baking smell? Like what sort of sounds do you hear? Are you in a quiet neighborhood? Is there a dog barking in the background? Is there a lot of naturey sounds around? Do you know what I mean? Like incorporate as many of your senses into the visualization. Now, this is because the more senses you're adding to it, the realer your visualization will feel. Now, once you've done that, the next step is to imagine how you would feel having your desire, or let's say having the dream home. Imagine how you would feel as if you have it right now. So let's say you want to have your dream home. Imagine how you would feel right now if you had your dream home. You'd feel pretty happy. You'd feel excited. You'd feel proud. You know what I mean? So really imagine what you would feel as if you have your desire right now, and then just sit in that energy. Now, this is because feeling is the secret. I learned that from Neville Goddard, right? So to be able to bring, like, everything you desire is in the quantum field. Now, what you want to do is to be able to bring it from the quantum field into the physical reality. And the way you do that is by your feelings. Because when you're sitting in those feelings of, having your wish fulfilled, that's the frequency you're tuned into. And whatever frequency you're tuned into is a reflection that you get back in your reality. So you imagine how you would feel having your desire. You feel as if your wish is fulfilled. You're tuning into that frequency, so then it can be brought in from the quantum field into your physical reality. Now, you want to do this every day. You can't do this once and then expect it to come into your reality. You got to think of it like the gym. You got to be consistent to get the results. So do it every day, but you don't have to spend a long time doing this. It could just be sit down for 5 minutes a day to do it. Now, the best time to actually do this is right before you go to sleep. So you can get in bed right before you go to sleep. Just visualize, use your imagination, imagine how you would feel as if your wish is already fulfilled, and then drift off to sleep. And I learned this from Neville Goddard as well, and that's the reason he recommends to do this is because when you're asleep, you marinate in your subconscious mind. So whatever was, like the last thing you listened to or the last thing you watched right before sleeping, that will marinate in the subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind creates 95% of your outer reality. So if the last thing you do right before going into the subconscious mind is imagining, your desire and feeling as if you have your desire, and then you're taking that into the subconscious, that'll make your manifestation a lot more powerful, and it'll bring it in a lot more quicker. And the last step is to, once you've done all that, is to thank the universe in advance for your desire. Show gratitude to the universe before actually having it. That is the last step, and it's an important step to do. So that's how you use imagination to manifest and create your dream life. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is that we use our imagination every day, but we may not actually realize it, and we can be using it in a negative way. So, for example, you may have noticed you've done this in the past where you imagine the worst case scenario, or you imagine things going wrong because you've got this negative mindset. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be imagining these negative scenarios and bringing them into your reality. So my advice is to start working on having more self-awareness, become mindful of your thoughts and your feelings, and make a habit of having a positive mindset, positive self-talk, positive what-ifs. So that way you can use your imagination in a positive way to create an amazing life for yourself. So I hope you like this video, guys. If you got some sort of value out of it, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or write a comment. And if you like this sort of content, then subscribe and hit the bell notification. And there is a video I'm going to recommend right here for you to watch, and that is the number one thing that blocks your manifestations. Now, I highly recommend watching this video because using your imagination is great when it comes to manifesting. It's the best tool you have for it. But if you aren't aware of what blocks manifestations, you won't be able to bring them in. And so this video here will explain that to you.